everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. All right, so let's be real. There are a lot of things going on in the world right now. I want to bring your attention back to Divinity Session number 7, where I gave the prophecy that I had received back in 2023 about the age that we are going into and everything that's about to happen. And if you go back to that passage, you will see that a lot of those things have already happened. We are still in the very beginning of that prophecy, by the way. But the passage from the Book of Rasheeda that we're going to go through today really talks about what is going on in the world right now and why that's going on. And if you remember in the very first Divinity Session number 1, so if you're jumping in for the first time, you should go back to Divinity Session number 1 and watch them all through. But definitely go back to 1 and 7, specifically pertaining to what we're talking about today. So there's a lot going on in the world right now. We are definitely in an age of destruction. But if you recall what I said, and I will say it again for those of you who didn't hear, this destruction leads to rebirth. So first of all, I want to lead with that. So we're not creating fear, we're not fear mongering, we're not pushing fear and panic or anything like that. But we're being real. This is the age that we're in right now. And I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm not talking about one country. I'm talking about the entire world. Okay, we are about to usher in a new age, and everything is happening right now for a reason. This is a period and an era of destruction. But there's hope within that destruction. So we're going to dive into the passage today. But before we get into that, I want to ask you a question. Are you leading with fear and panic right now? Or are you leading with self-trust and faith in your path and faith in the path of the world and where things are headed? The faith in us in order to be able to usher in this new world, because it takes us to be able to do that. So I want you to ask yourself that question because, again, I'm against fear. We don't push fear like a lot of other people do. We do not push fear. We push self-trust. We push hope. We push power. Okay? Because that's what we are. We are divine and we are powerful. So there's no need to fear anything, but we do need to understand what's going on. We need to understand what is happening so that we can then be in the right place within that happening in order to make sure that we're in the right place at the end of it. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the passage from the Book of Rasheeda, and it is as follows. The fall before the light has come is now, and now is the light that comes to see the truth of the fall. Now, this is one of the very cryptic passages in the Book of Rasheeda. So we're going to break that down because it sounds like a riddle. And it kind of is, but there's many, many layers of meaning to what it's saying. And it's really, if I'm going to read that again to you right now to just so you understand each part of that sentence because it can be very confusing. The fall before the light has come is now. So we're in the period right now before the light is what it's saying. We're in the period before this new era that we're going to be ushering in. We are in the fall in which we are awakening, and that is the next sentence. The next part of that sentence actually it says, and now the light has come to see the truth of the fall. So the light within the now, because it uses the word now twice, the light within the now, which is in the present moment that we're in right now, is the awakening that's happening in order to see the truth of the fall. So what this passage is really reminding you of, again, what I said earlier, not pushing fear, what this passage is reminding you of is that we are currently in the fall. We are currently in the decline. We are currently in a period of destruction. But the light is here, meaning our inner wisdom, our enlightenment. We are awakening as a people in order to see the truth of the fall. Why are we falling? Why are these things happening? Why do we need destruction in order for rebirth? Because we haven't been going in the right direction. That's why. Because the entire world has been moving away from their divinity instead of toward their divinity. So we need to kind of do a reset in order to move things into a better future. And why do we need to see the truth of the fall? Because when you understand what's actually happening, then you can stand with power. Then you can move in power. And then you can really understand what are the things that you need to be doing right now? What are the things that you need to be, what is the energy that you need to be putting out right now in order for all of us as a collective to be able to move into this new era? Part of that is awakening. That is your duty to awaken. Okay, we are, first of all, we are here. That's one of our life purposes in our human existence and in this incarnation is to awaken. Now, do we all awaken? No. But should we all be awakening right now? Absolutely. Do we have the opportunity to all awaken right now? Absolutely. And part of the reason why we're not awakened is the direction that things have been going into. If you look at history, if you look at history from a spiritual standpoint, not religion, well, religion shows you the digression of it instead of the progression of it. But when you look at spirituality throughout history, you can really see that how it is literally digressing because of religion. Religion has done that to spirituality. And then governments that have taken up religious ideas and so on and so forth now have continued to ingrain those false ideologies within the people. And therefore, we are further and further away from our true selves. We are further and further away from that. We have to destroy that so that we can rebirth a new nation. And by nation, I'm not talking about a country. I'm talking about a nation of humanity. Okay? So if you go back to the prophecy that I received, it said that we were entering a period of darkness and chaos, and that after that period of darkness and chaos, we will rise. And this isn't something about the end of the world, and I'm not talking about anything like that because there is no such thing as the end of the world. Okay, the world as we know it will end for sure. That's going to happen, but new eras usher in. Every destruction is followed by a rebirth. Understand that, and that's why there's nothing to fear. But this rebirth is leading us to where we're supposed to be. Now, let's talk for a second about the world that we're in right now. What's wrong with the world that we're in right now? I think you know, but we're going to say that anyway. You want to go there? We're going to go there. So, we have broken systems. We have greed ruling everything. We have humans that can't focus on what's actually important and want to create division and fighting and all of these things about stuff that doesn't actually matter and is really rooted in fear and greed. Okay, this is all away from our divinity, not towards our divinity. And this has been happening progressively for a long time. We can see, if you look through history, you can see the progression of this throughout time. And we look at history a lot of times and say, oh, well, we've always been like that. No, we haven't. In our perceived history of more recently, absolutely. But no, we haven't. Humans have not always been like this. It has progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And so this is why the destruction of our current systems. Again, we're not talking about the destruction of the world. We're talking about the destructions of our current systems and societies and cultures that we have built. Okay, humans have built that under the illusion of separation. So under these things are falling away. These things are being destroyed. These things are in a fall right now. But then what rises is the light. What is our light? Our inner light, our divinity, the truth of who we are. So it's important to see when this sentence says that to see the truth of the fall, we need to understand why things are falling, but we also need to understand the truth of our light and the truth of ourselves. And this is why the light is here to show us the darkness. Because you cannot see, and the darkness is here to show us our light. Because you have to understand the paradox of this reality. You can't fully understand your light unless you experience the dark, but also the dark has to fall away in order to bring forth the light. And so this is really the era that we're in, and that's what this passage is talking about. And again, perfectly timed because this passage was written in 2024. We're already up to 2024, guys. We started in 2015, and we're reading the passages in order of how they came through me from the cosmic collective consciousness. But they knew exactly when these passages would be shared. So I didn't start sharing this in 2016. No one even knew about this book until 2023. So, or 2024, I forgot. But they knew exactly when this would be shown. And this is what we are going through right now. So what does this mean for you? Why do you care? First of all of the things I just said you should care about. But what does this mean for you? Well, as we're seeing things, I need you guys to really remember the illusion of separation. I need you to remember that we are in a simulation. Okay? I need you to remember that. But that doesn't mean it's not important. That doesn't mean that the things that happen here are not important. Most things that happen are not important. But there are certain things in terms of your life purpose, the impact you're supposed to have in this world, and that we are moving the world in a good direction. And good not being figurative, and good not being subjective, but good meaning divine. We're moving things into a direction of divinity and us being divine and us being able to hold that truth without being lied to, without propaganda telling us that we're nothing, without society brainwashing us into not believing in ourselves. That's the world that we were supposed to be living in, and that's the world we are headed back into because we were once there. In this passage, it says the light comes to see. So, what is to see? It's observation. So, what should you be doing right now? You should not be reacting so much to what's happening with the understanding that this is a decline and this is a fall and it is there for a purpose and a reason, but a good one because we are waiting for that rebirth. So you should not be reacting, you should be more so observing in order to see the truth, taking the lessons of what's going on, taking the lessons in humanity, taking the lessons of the world, and also taking the lessons of this reality in general. Understand that collapse, which is what's happening right now, is revelation in motion. What does that mean? Collapse is revelation in motion because as you watch, as you observe a collapse, you're able to really see what's creating that collapse. You're able to learn from those lessons. It is revelation in motion. It's also revealing where we're going if you're paying attention. If you're not focused on the fear factors and you're paying attention to where things are actually going to head after the complete collapse. So I ask you, what truth is being revealed to you right now? And are you reacting to it or are you observing it right now? The truth in your life, the truth that you see if you're paying attention to the news, if you're paying attention on social media, you can't really get away from it unless you're not paying attention to anything. It's everywhere. And there's a lot of fear and a lot of angst all over the world. And again, this is just the beginning. So if you're just holding on right now, you need to be watching these divinity sessions every day because this is just the beginning. We haven't even gotten to the thick of it yet. Okay. What I was shown that's going to happen is like utter chaos. Okay. There's chaos all over the world. And these things are, again, we're just in the beginning. These things are just starting to happen. And so it's important that you have an anchor and that you are strong. And this is why the Book of Rasheeda has come out now in the Mystic Temple and I and the Cosmic Collective Consciousness, all of us together. This is why this is happening right now. This is why we've come out right now in order to allow you to anchor, at least give you the opportunity to anchor and ground and stand in your power during all of this so that you can actually help usher in the new world instead of falling along with the decline. So I want you to also ask yourself, what energy are you here to carry into this new era? Because everyone's here for a reason. You're living in this lifetime, in this age, in this era of decline for a reason. Why are you here? Why did you come here? What do you have to give to this? And it doesn't have to be something big. It might be something what we would consider small. Nothing is actually small, but it might be something small. It might be something big. But what are you here to contribute to that? On the positive or the negative side, right? You have the purpose already laid out, but you also have a choice. And so, what are you here to do? And how are you going to contribute to that? So I really want you to ask yourself that question and think about it honestly and seriously. And then start taking action. Start taking action to move in that direction, whatever that is for you. And if you have not been watching these divinity sessions, first of all, welcome. And you need to start watching start watching them. This is Divinity Session 75. We have 75 of them that you can watch, and each one deals with a passage from the Book of Rasheeda and diving into the meaning of that, because this book has come from the Cosmic Collective Consciousness, which is a collective of streams of consciousness that comes through me and literally takes over my body and writes this book. So this is very important, a very powerful book, a very powerful temple that I've been guided and really directed to create after many, many, many visions that I had in 2012, and was shown my entire purpose and the entire future of this world. And then again in 2023, showing a prophecy that we're talking about today. So definitely continue to watch. Definitely really apply these things, though. I always tell you guys that knowledge without action is pointless. So you have to embody things, you have to integrate, and you have to apply these things to your life. So when I say observe, I'm also referring to meditation. So there are many ways to observe something. Obviously, seeing it with your own eyes, seeing it with your mind's eye, but also inner observance. So inner observance is when you can go within and really start to see how everything is really affecting you as well as your life and your own timeline, because we all have different timelines, your own timeline, your journey, and how that interacts with your purpose. So again, all of these things, you have all the answers inside of you. You can glean all of that information simply from going within. And this is why we do a lot of meditations and shamanic journeys and stuff like that also on Mystic Temple, is because we want to embody these things. I don't want to just talk at you and tell you these things, teaching and preaching without application. Application is important, and meditation, shamanic journeys, energy work, all of those things are really important ways to integrate and powerful ways to integrate and apply information and knowledge to your life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not applying it to your life, what's the point? We want to not only move in the direction that we're supposed to move into in our life, but we also want to have a more fulfilling life. And all these things that I'm telling you lead to a more fulfilling life. Everything that we talk about in Mystic Temple leads you to a more fulfilling life. So we are physical beings, but we're also spiritual beings. Okay. But one is not supposed to negate the other. We live in duality and we're supposed to live in duality, or else we wouldn't have incarnated into physical bodies. So your life is actually important as well. The enjoyment of your life. And guess what? Being in fear is not enjoying your life. Being anxious is not enjoying your life. Moving from fear and anxiousness is not enjoying your life. It's not having the full breadth of your life. Not understanding your power is not enjoying your life, not to its fullest. We can have fleeting joy, we can have fleeting happiness, but I'm talking about true fulfillment. Difference, big difference. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to now end in the divine language with a prayer in the divine language that essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kumti, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Something's breaking and they feel it too. Smiles rehearsed, but the cracks show through. What was built on fear and noise can't survive a conscious choice. They say don't look, I say stay right here. Truth doesn't hide when the view is clear. We're the ones who see it happening, still steady in a change. Every crack lets something through. Every loss resets the frame. We're not scared of what's collapsing. It was never meant to last. We're the ones who see the moment as the future meets the past. Old commands don't land the same. Fear is tired, losing range. What was hidden's out in view. Different eyes are breaking through. We don't need saving, we need sight. We don't need comfort, we need a right. We're the ones who see it happening, while the old world sheds its skin. Every ending clears the space for what's ready to begin. We don't want what's turning dust. We don't cling to broken maps. We're the ones who see the moment, and we're not turning back. We are not the chaos, we are not the fall. We are the awareness, watching it all. Let it break what wasn't true. Let it go what never grew. From the quiet, from the shift, we remember why we're here. We're the ones who see it clearly, while the timelines rearrange. What survives is what is true. What is true won't